Yeah. We'll give it 2 more minutes and then I'll do my spiel.
Yeah, that's fine.
Got a few more companies that we definitely know we're going to sign up. So
Okay. Smriti and Leah, where exactly are you both based?
I'm in Colchester.
Oh, Colchester, great.
And I'm in Epping Forest.
Oh,
very nice.
Buckhurst Hill.
very good. We've got some diversity in the geographic location across Essex already, which is good. Not just in the usual suspects. Hi, Stuart.
Hi, Stuart.
Hi, Stuart.
Got a lot of the answers that we've got here, and obviously
Stuart's got his fancy background on as well.
I have just found the ability to hear you. Sorry about that. If I was looking at you blankly, I couldn't hear anyone. Hello. I'm
Hi,
Stuart.
Hello. Hiya.
Sorry I'm late. I've got no excuses. I got enough reminders. I was just late.
That's fine. We haven't started yet, Stuart, so if you
No,
missed
we
it.
haven't. Stuart, where are you based in Essex?
Everyone's favourite holiday destination, Clacton-on-Sea.
Clacton-on-Sea.
Hmm.
Brilliant. See, three different locations actually. It's quite interesting. All three of you.
Very different types of places as well, with different economies.
What are the other places then?
We've got
So
Buckhurst Hill, Epping Forest, and Leah from Colchester.
Oh, well, we're virtually neighbours, Leah.
Yeah. I grew up in Frinton.
Did
So-
you? Well, I live in
Yeah.
Wickham Bishop, so I come past Colchester every day, and you go from the other direction.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah.
Hold on, where you grew up in Princeton, where you live in Colchester as well?
So grew up in Frinton, and then I've moved around a bit, sort of London, abroad, all over, and then ended up in Manningtree, and then just last year moved to Colchester. So, and I run a business with my brother, and he's based in Manningtree. So, in case that ticks any boxes for diversity across the region, yeah.
The proof of concept.
In Colchester.
So this is
Sorry, it's a bit hard to hear you. I think there's quite a lot of background noise.
Sorry, that could be. Let me mute it.
So Jack, whenever you're ready, I think we can probably
let's
get
make
started, and then if anyone else joins in, then they can kind of get involved, and they've got the recording as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Risha. So, hi, everybody. Welcome to our webinar about our new Growing Essex Global programme. So, very excited to welcome you here. I don't get to do my usual spiel at the start of an in-person event about where the toilets and where the fire escapes are, so you should know that yourselves already. But I do just want to say for your information that we're recording the session so that others can enjoy and be informed by everything we're going to talk about in the future, and also just to stay on mute for the minute, and we'll have a dedicated Q&A section at the end. But it's going to be very informal and conversational. Risha and team are here to provide lots of information. So as I say, Risha and Karen are here from London and Partners. So London Partners have done a fantastic job delivering a very similar programme of this kind of format and scale in London over the last decade or so, I suppose, and they've got some pretty eye-popping numbers about the impact of the programme on businesses in London and the value it's generated for them. So we're really excited that Essex businesses now have the opportunity to tap into their expertise and the programme itself. So that's all I was going to say, and without further ado, I will hand over to the London and Partners team.
Thank you. Thanks, Jack, for the intro. Karen, would you like me to share slides? Shall I do that? Yeah. Okay, let me get that up. Let me know once you can see that. Yeah, all good?
Yeah.
Brilliant. So should we start with some introductions and then we can dive into the presentation. So I'm Richa. Nice to meet you all. I'm the head of operations for this program. It's my role to essentially curate the activities that the companies get involved with once they join the program. So lovely to meet you. And Karen?
Hi everyone, lovely to meet you. I'm Karen Sandu, head of the program, and we're really excited to be partnering with Essex to bringing companies on board.
Great. Okay, so it's not death by PowerPoint, but we thought it would be helpful just to help structure the discussion to just present a few slides. Very happy to take questions towards the end, and we'll dive straight in. So Karen, I'm going to hand it over to you. Just let me know when you want me to move the slides along.
No problem, thank you. So so Grow London Global was launched last year in May. It's very much based on the success of the Mayor's International Business Programme, which has been ran from 2015 to 2022. During this time, our companies created over 6,000 jobs. We ran over 70 trade missions and supported over 1,300 businesses over that duration. That programme was funded by the European Regional Development Fund, which is obviously now not how we're funded because that will stop for obvious reasons. Our return on investment was about 95 to 1, so that's kind of gross value add generated for every £1 of European Regional Development Fund funding. Now that's stopped, we're currently funded by the UK Shared Prosperity Fund, so we took that opportunity to rebrand, hence Grow London Global, and also we're a much bigger team. I still think we're quite a skinny team, but we're a bigger team. And so, Richa, if you could move to the next slide, please. Thank you. So what about the program? So it's a 12-month free program whereby companies have access to all the events that Richa and her team curate. It could be anything from meet the corporates to meet the investors, and I'll let Richa go into it in more detail later. Sorry, it's really loud here for some reason. I'll carry on. One-to-ones with our partners. It could be workshops. We also run trade missions around the world, and everything that we do, all of the events and trade missions that we run, it's all data-led. So, we're on cohort 5 now, and all the cohorts are very clear about the destinations that are looking to go to. Obviously, you don't know what you don't know, and things can change, and decisions can be altered. But everything we do is very much data-led. There are lots of opportunities for our companies as well with regards to speaking opportunities, demo opportunities. Maybe you've got PR announcements, good news stories, whatever it might be. Next slide, please. So this is very much an internal thing that kind of gives you an idea of how it works. So we support high growth tech companies in these sectors. So we've got fintech and enterprise, tech, and then the creative industries, sustainability, and life sciences. Typically these are the sectors that we fall under, that companies fall under, although we have been known to bring on a chocolate company or a female-founded beer company. So, there are exceptions to that rule. Next slide, please. So the eligibility criteria to get onto the program is that you're a UK registered company, that you fall into one of the sectors that I've mentioned, that your revenue, annual turnover revenue is at least 1 million pounds, and that you're growing 20% year on year. I think the biggest thing, there are two things though. Firstly is that you are looking to scale internationally. And secondly is that you can commit to the program. I think it's very much about what you put into the program, you will get out of it. Next slide, please. This is just really a bit of a slide on your journey and destination. So once companies get accepted onto the program, they then attend a cohort launch, which is mandatory, but it kind of gives you an idea of what is involved with the program and what's on offer. And then during that year, you get access to, like I said, lots of different events, and trade missions. You can sign up for any of those kind of things. And then you also get an account manager, a trade manager, who account manages you throughout that year. So they get to know you very much understand your challenges and opportunities that you're looking for. And that when the very beginning of the year, you have a diagnostic session for about an hour and 15 minutes with one of our team. That's when they really deep dive into the financials and, you know, what's worked in the past and what you're looking for now, what markets you're interested in. We have all kinds of things like socials, and there's additional activity. We've got a Grow Summit, for example, in November, which is very much about peer-to-peer scale-ups, peer-to-peer networking within our scale-ups. And then at the very end, you graduate. Everything we do is our KPIs we're measured on export revenue and job creation. So at the very end, you get asked details about markets that we've helped you move into or you're looking to expand to, and projected revenue, export revenue costs. And then I forgot to mention, we keep in touch with you. So then once you leave the program, you still are part of our alumni, and you get opportunities to whatever opportunities we might have, whether that's, you know, events or speaking opportunities or anything like that. Next slide, please. Thanks, Roger. This is just our team. You've got a lot of the trade managers, and it's all separated by sector, and then you've got Richard's team there. And then the next slide, please. These are just some of the companies that we've worked with. As mentioned, I think I spoke about Hiver Beer, but we've also got Bloom and Wild, Revolut, all kinds of companies that have gone through the program since 2015. And the next slide, please. These are actually just some recent success stories from Europe. We've got some great stories there, but I'm going to probably just focus on a couple. I mean, iWarranty is really an AI and machine learning kind of warranty management system. They've honestly been very engaged with the program. I think they went on our enterprise mission to Atlanta and Dallas. They also went I think they went to India as well, and they went to Europe. And now they've set up in the Washington, DC and Delhi. And then you've got, which is the other one? The Sustainability Group. They very much help organizations kind of manage their sustainability footprint, if you like. They've also been very engaged in the program, taking part in a lot of events and missions. And through our missions, they've actually secured some great partnerships and clients. So these missions, I was going to go into it, but Richard can go through it on her bit. And I think that's it from me, isn't it, Richard?
It is, yeah, nice segue. Thanks, Karen. So moving on to what does the program actually involve in terms of the content. Karen touched on a few of these things. So you begin your journey with the cohort launch event. The next cohort launch will be on the 30th of September. It's a half-day event taking place in London, and it's really the opportunity to learn about the program, meet the team, meet our partners that we work with, but also crucially meet each other. So the peer-to-peer learning opportunity, I think, is amazing for this program, meeting other high growth founders and CEOs and business leaders. And that's kind of the key moment to do that. So all 100 or so will come together for a half day. You then get access to all of the workshops and events that we run. Some of those are online, so things that are more kind of webinar content, you know, short, sharp, how do you grow your sales in Europe, for example, are things that we can run online. So obviously no need to leave your office or your home and access those kind of learning opportunities. Also some networking opportunities we're looking to build in from autumn onwards, meeting with potential customers, investors, that sort of thing. Online. Then we also run in-person events, as you can imagine. So a flagship event that we run for every cohort is something that we call Meet the Market US, and this is an opportunity for you to come out and learn how to tackle US expansion, looking at it from all angles in terms of, you know, the operational side of how do you set up an entity, should you flip into a Delaware business, how do you find your customers? How do you hire people? We always love including case studies and stories from founders that have been there and done it, because we really find value in that, and I think it resonates really well with their peers. So this program is iterative, as has been mentioned before. So we're always looking at the data of each of the cohorts that come through, and then building activities off the back of that. A really good example of that is something that we did earlier in this year, focused on Brazil. We noticed a lot of the companies were starting to show interest in Latin America. We hadn't done too much in terms of events or trade missions to that market. So we picked one market, being Brazil. We created a week-long immersion week, we called it. So lots of activities, opportunities to learn about the market, but also to connect with potential customers across a number of different sectors. So each of the sectors that we work in had meetings with banks, large enterprise companies, also retailers, telecoms companies. I think we had an energy company. So across the board, there was opportunity for each of the companies in the sectors to learn more about doing business in Brazil and to make some connections. So we're always looking for new opportunities to support the companies on the program, and kind of iterating on the program of activities. The trade missions are probably jewel in the crown of this program, I'd say, often the thing that leads companies to want to join and to take advantage of that. These are very targeted, ultimately business development opportunities. And so we do 15 of these across the year. I'll take you through in a second what we've got in the roadmap between now and the end of the financial year, so you can kind of to help illustrate where we're focusing our attention. They are sector focused, so we're trying to really create a group of companies in the same sector who are looking to meet with the same potential customer or investor, ecosystem player, that sort of thing. And then we curate a program of meetings, usually across the space of about 4 days, depending on where we're going. Karen led a mission last year to Singapore and Australia that spanned 2 weeks, but we realized being out of the office for 2 weeks is a big undertaking. So we help get you in front of decision makers, ultimately tapping into our networks, or kind of growing networks through who we know already, to help you have conversations and build connections with people that might want to do business with you. We then have a whole program of community events, so corporate and investor engagement. So if you're looking to raise growth capital in the coming months, while in the 12 months you're on the program, then there are opportunities each month to meet with investors from across the London ecosystem. We're also looking to build in more opportunities to engage with corporates and investors in global markets too. So just moving on. This is a bit more of a breakdown of some of the workshop content that we would do. So it's very practical advice. We work with a network of partners, as you can imagine, law firms, professional services, a few companies in the kind of talent and HR space that can help you kind of put your strategy together in terms of talent planning and seeking people out in new markets to join your business. We also do stuff around kind of marketing, branding, PR. How do you position yourself in new markets? How do you gain that bit of market share as a newcomer to the market? Fundraising I've talked about, but it's all very practical advice to help you, I guess, make the right decisions as you expand your company into new markets. And then just to take you through the roadmap of trade missions. So as I said, 15 across the year. The ones that are grayed out are ones that we've delivered already in the past couple of months. But as you can see, it's a pretty busy Q3 coming up. I think we've got 6 trade missions between October and Christmas. Quite varied markets as well. So, a couple of trips to Asia, but also the UAE, North America and Europe. So most parts of the world, depending on the different sectors we'll be visiting between now and Christmas. And as I mentioned, this plan is iterative. So when we have the new cohort that come on board in September, we'll be looking at the data and then building plans for the next financial year in terms of where we'll be putting our attention and our efforts for trade missions. These are our details. Obviously, we're very happy to chat to any of you, but I think I'll probably break there and turn it over to questions. Feel free to come off mute or put your hand up, whatever works best, and take the slides down as well.
Thanks for that. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Our company, Dura Composites, are a manufacturer. We're diving deep into repurposing or recycling, so sustainability. So there's some really nice fits there, but there's nothing on manufacturing. So just give me a view as to where we might fit on that. There was various trade mission items there, but none in that kind of field.
Karen, I think that's one for
Yeah.
you.
I'll be honest, we don't really do much in that space. It could be that you fall into the sustainability sector, so you might decide that actually you want to go to a mission. I don't know, just say we're doing one to the Nordics, and what happens, the process is that we get who you want to meet on that mission. So there is a deep dive into what you're looking for and who you want to meet. And then for our missions, we obviously cold outreach. So we outreach to investors, partners, ecosystem stakeholders, and potential clients. And so if you were to list it, whoever you're looking to meet on there, then we would do our best to get some face-to-face meetings. But essentially, I can't say that it's a massive part of our program.
So we've actually done it.
The other question I had was, Michael probably know the answer to this perhaps, but are these the same as the trade missions that I would remember? Because we did one to Australia, I think, 3 or 5 years ago, for example, or is this a different thing?
Who was that to?
Is
Sorry.
it a question for us or for Jack and Michael?
Anyone that knows, just curious or interested, because I've heard of these before and we've done them before, but they weren't from the brand that you represent at the moment.
Yeah.
Stuart, I think that those trade missions were Department for Business and Trade organised trade missions, the one that you're talking about to Australia.
Yeah.
These are separate, more focused. I was going to come in on knowing a little bit about your business, and you explained you're a manufacturer, but your customers are invariably infrastructure and especially rail infrastructure customers. So that may perhaps colour what trade missions that fit with what Risha and Karen are offering. So I'll leave them to answer that.
Yeah, so we had a mission. Thank you, Michael. We had a mission to Chicago, and there were that would fit with regards to those, if that's who your client is or your customer is, and that would fit. So thanks for clarifying that, Michael.
It's okay, and that certainly some of the more Middle Eastern ones that you were showing, they were, I can't say generic, but I'm just trying to think. Come on, Jack, help me out.
Agnostic, sector agnostic.
Yes, so some of our missions are all sectors and sector agnostic. So North Star is that's coming up in Dubai is everything actually. So yeah, we do have some like that as well. They're not necessarily all completely sector focused, and then others are you might have a dual sector, like the one into India is sustainability enterprise and fintech. So it's very wide. It's not I appreciate like the fintech mission to New York is very specific. So that we do have wider sector missions too.
Just to say, Jack, before we come to you, we'd love to know like a line or two on the business as well. If you can sort of share if you ask a question, because it just helps us to try and figure out where we fit you in. Jack?
No, I was just going to say, I can't remember, I wasn't sure if I missed it, but when we were talking about businesses coming on the cohort, this upcoming cohort in September, that is about 100 businesses, right? But it's businesses from across the West Midlands and Scotland and London and Essex as well. So there's that kind of intra UK opportunity to network as well. Yeah.
So yeah, So in September, it's 100 London and obviously 12 from Essex. And correct me if I'm wrong, Richard, but we had 10 from West Midlands and 5 from Scotland that joined cohort 3, I think, right?
January, yeah, and then we've got
Yeah.
five from Scotland
And we've
joining.
got 5
in
from Scotland joining in September as well.
Michael?
Yeah, I was just going to say, you've also got offices in different parts of the world. So, you know, perhaps even if there's not a trade mission, that office can sort of help businesses be put in touch with, you know, potential local customers, agents, et cetera, et cetera. Would that be a correct assumption?
Yeah, that would definitely be correct. So sorry, we do have offices in India, Mumbai, Bangalore, and now Delhi. We're in China, in Shenzhen, Shanghai, and Beijing. We're in Europe, in Paris, Berlin, and Stockholm, and we're in North America. So it's a good test of my memory. We're in North America, San Francisco, LA, New York, and Toronto. They're obviously all on the ground, but then we work really closely with a lot of the high commissions and embassies all around London and the world. So when we took the mission to Australia and Singapore, we don't have anyone on the ground. So everything that we did, the whole itinerary was literally through our connections and doing it, you know, with the time difference. So we know the Australian High Commission. We're definitely connected to a lot of the different organisations. But Richie, you might want to talk about the Canadian High Commission and the US Embassy events.
Yeah, so we align really closely. So the event that I mentioned, that Meet the Market US, we host it at the US Embassy. And so obviously we have their team from their commercial service who are really knowledgeable about all things kind of US expansion. Where should you be looking at? Obviously, huge market, you know, where should you be concentrating your efforts? We do something similar with the Canadian High Commission as well. We often have delegations or people from those locations coming to London too. So it's not just, I mean, the trade missions are a fantastic opportunity, but there's lots of opportunities to meet people here as well without having to step on a plane. Something, Stuart, that might be relevant for you too in terms of the things that we do in our different sectors is we do something called a demo day for sustainability where we focus on a theme. So we might be bringing in kind of lots of large infrastructure players for companies to pitch to, and you know, kind of helping you connect in with the London ecosystem as well as, you know, taking you out into different markets. So just illustrates a bit, but there's a lot going on basically. But the role of your account manager would be to help you navigate kind of all of the things and help you pick out the you know, the best activities for you to engage with.
We happen to have a potential project in Greenville. We haven't really done anything in the States before, which is it South Carolina or North Carolina? I always forget which, but around that area. Is that, I can't remember all the things that came up on the screen. Is that region covered in any way?
No, but we do, you know, our team in the States cover the whole of the States, so they will have connections, and I know they do work with Carolina. I'm pretty sure they've actually got quite an active tech hub, so yeah, they can make connections as and when needed.
Did you mention Atlanta, or did I mishear that?
Yeah, we went. Yeah, Atlanta is very, very engaged as a city, actually.
Those city organisations, Stuart, are sort of our equivalents really. So we're London and Partners, working with London and now kind of regional companies from across the UK. So we often will lean on those relationships when we're going to market, or if we've got companies that are interested in you know, Atlanta in that region or elsewhere, even if we're not doing a trade mission, there's definitely connections there that we can make on your behalf. Smriti?
Hi, thank you. Great presentation, thank you. My company is very new, so it probably won't fall under the program eligibility criteria. But my question was, while I'm growing to that level, is there any other help that we can come to you for as well in terms of connections? And I'm looking to expand in Ireland, so I'm based in UK at the moment. But my products are like disposable, sustainable products within the hospitality industry. So bringing in, importing things like rice straws, things like that. So I have, licenses across Europe and UK and Ireland. So Ireland's a country that I haven't really got any sort of edgeway into. So is there something you can help me with?
Yeah, we know the IDA well. Irish, I think they call it Irish Development Authority. Might be wrong. We know them well. They cover Ireland and very much do what we do for Ireland as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's not a problem. And I think Michael mentioned it earlier, but we work very closely with the Department of Business and Trade, who also obviously based there, and we'll be able to support.
Okay, and that is for somebody who's not on the program as well?
Say that again, sorry.
Would you provide the help if I'm still not on the program?
I mean, we couldn't provide detailed help, but we'll be able to make a connection here and there. Absolutely.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Ruthie, also, there's like a company that we work with from London called EnvoPap. Are you familiar with them? You're in EnvoPap with a P.
Yeah, might have
sounds like
heard
you might
of
be in
it,
a similar
actually.
space. So again, they take agricultural waste and produce packaging, disposable, containers for food stalls and that kind of thing. All sorts of packaging. And it sounds, I don't know. It sounds like there's a
slowly,
bit of
I'm expanding to slowly stuff like that.
Yeah, it sounds like there's some crossover. So again, just talking about kind of the network and the sort of company that you'd be in. There's lots of kind of cross-pollination and opportunities to kind of build your network within your sector as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, thank you.
Worth looking into them.
Can I just say, I think I'm in the same boat. Like, it sounds like an absolutely fantastic program, but I hadn't seen the full eligibility criteria before I signed up. And yeah, our business isn't at that stage yet, but it's definitely something that I'd be interested in future if we can get to that level of growth. Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Leah. Absolutely.
Jack?
Yeah, I was just going to put the just as a sort of finishing up stuff, the link to the application form on the in the meeting chat, which I've just put in. So it's just I say it quick. It's a Microsoft form. There's a few forms just to find out a bit of kind of management information about who you are, which helps Richard and Karen kind of identify where you go, what sort of cohort you'd be, what bucket of the program you fit into best, actually. And Smriti and Leah, it might be worth you filling it out anyway, because then it helps us understand, kind of where you are on your growth trajectory, so we can help you more in the future, if it's not necessarily on this program, what other business support programs that we run that might be outside of this, as well as obviously the connections that Karen and Richard can put you in touch with. So if you fill it out anyway, it'd be really helpful for us to keep in touch with you as well.
If it was okay, I was going to say a few things. Is there a time to make a few notes? Yeah. So for us, we're probably a little bit the opposite, actually. So we're already relatively far along our journey. We've got 115 people or so, and our next stage, however, is significant growth, and that we're sort of in the middle of preparing to release. Part of that is this invention of a repurposing or recycling machine that will help bring more credence to the products we already make, and will provide new services to other people in our space who need their products to be sustainable. My biggest fear here is that we haven't got enough bandwidth to do everything we're doing already and attend all the things you want us to, and make sure that the investment and time you put into it is realised on our side as well. We're lucky in that we've got some people and lots of people to be involved. Part of my worry is, who would I pick? Because my perfect world would be I'd spread it across the senior leadership team, of which there are 7 other people. so that I spread the load. Because if I said to one of them, right, got a new job for you, you're going to do all these things, they probably might punch me. So that's my question, I suppose, is you're probably your favourite enrollers are probably the people who are able to go to every meeting and do every trade mission and be really, really, really active. And I'm thinking to myself, this is a great opportunity, but I need to sort of fold it into things we're already doing. Otherwise, I'm just creating more work.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and thank you for that. That's really interesting to hear. But so first of all, with regards to the size of your company, we do have, I say predominantly a lot of the companies are Series A, but we have Series B and C, unicorns on our program. So I won't worry about the size of the company. With regards to sharing the load, I completely understand. We have, it's you don't have to go to everything. Honestly, we've had companies who've done maybe 3 things in a year, and it's had a massive impact, and it's really supported them as they've exported. But you might decide that actually in the whole year there's 4 to 5 things or more, and you can nominate other people to go. That's not a problem. In your stead, happens all the time. Just let us know. As long as we've got the contact details of who you would nominate on our system, it's all good to go, really.
I just
Okay.
echo Karen. I don't want you to come to everything. Please don't. There's too much.
Yeah.
I actually do some of the companies that do come to lots of things. I wonder, they're coming to something that's focused on the US, and then they're coming to something exploring Southeast Asia, and then they come to something else, and I'm just like, who's running your business? So, I think the role of working with your main point of contact, your account manager, is to help you really kind of pick out the key moments, the key activities where, if you're going to free up some resource from your side to come to something where it's going to be the most impactful, if that's a trade mission, if it's an in-person event here in London, if it's a marketing workshop you could send your marketing colleague to, it really varies. But we're really happy for you to spread the load. We see great success when companies do that, because it's not just, the founder or the CEO or the main person that gets involved. We're very open to that.
That's good. And the other idea I had, that was the Greenville one, was I think we know there's some opportunities there. So this is to convert disused railway lines into walking and cycling trails using our products that can be recycled at the end of their use, or repurposed at the end of their use. And some of the people we're talking to are they can't wait. It's the best thing since sliced bread. Can't wait to get going. These are significant projects that involve a lot of government input at their end, because it's all funded through their various mechanisms. And so it's an existing project, but in all honesty, it's hard to focus on all the different things we're doing. It's probably a quarter of the way down the road, and it could still fall over next week. But we have cleared maybe halfway down the road. And I wouldn't want to lie to you and say, oh, could we go to Atlanta or Carolina, and maybe we'll bump into these people that we already know. I'd rather say, look, we have learned of one set of people and one particular project, and these projects are large, very large for us. But while we're there could be lots of other like-minded people, and maybe some connected solutions that we could evaluate. Would that work? So I'm just putting it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm not putting everything on the trade mission, of course, because there's lots of other things, and I love the idea of talking to other existing, previous project deliverers. I think that's very valuable, but I'm just trying to hook some projects on it.
Honestly, I understand that. That's not a problem. I'm actually just thinking about connections that we could make at the moment.
There's, Karen, that company in Scotland, Danny Robotics.
Yeah.
You heard of that company, Stuart? Because they essentially have developed kind of robotic arm technology that sorts recycling. I don't know if that's anything similar to what you're looking to do, but again, just, you know, as you're talking, just these companies are kind of springing to mind of like, you know, could there be partnerships?
Yeah.
Or could you bid for things together, or, you know, companies that are already in the network?
Also, my question, tell me if I'm completely off base here, but you know, when you were talking about Carolina and the old railway tracks and things like that, is it like the High Line?
I don't know what that is.
Oh, sorry, the High Line in New York.
In New York.
No.
Disused
So
railway, yeah.
think loads in America. They've got loads of space they don't need, completely bit different to us, and they've got loads of railway lines that have come into disrepair because they don't use them anymore because they all like their cars, and they're just like, oh, what can we do these things? Because they're a total pain in the ass to maintain. They become areas where people who are naughty go and take drugs and do other bad things, and it's an eyesore. So if we're talking to CBRE, who are a large organisation who are
We know
looking
them,
at it from a 30-year perspective rather than a 6-month perspective. So what they're looking at is how can we make 100 acres worth £1 gazillion instead of £1 million, so different kind of scale, and that they're the sort of funder connectors for us, and they found us to provide the product. So
Okay, thank you. That's really helpful. Very interesting.
Stuart, I was going to say, many years ago, I did go to North Carolina. It's an interesting part of the States on a trade mission. I don't know if I told you this, but with a cut, and that was a big organised trade mission to a big. I was in the furniture industry, and it's the major centre of furniture manufacturing in US. But we wanted to go on and do other. So we sort of went off at a tangent and visited, particularly New York and up into Toronto. So it was a sort of a bit of, half organised and half personal sort of endeavour, for want of a better phrase.
It
sounds like there's flexibility. If you're producing numbers of 95 to 1, it kind of suggests that if you get people involved or engaged, something good's going to come from it.
I would say that's an accurate assessment, yeah. I mean, honestly, you just don't know who's in the room. We say that all the time on the mission. I mean, it's not your sectors, but there was a fintech mission, and one of the companies was like, they're meeting JP Morgan. He said, oh, I've met JP Morgan. I don't need to meet them. So he didn't go to that. One of our clients didn't go to that meeting, and then actually the most senior person in JP Morgan ended up being in the room, and one of the companies even got investment, and they missed that. You just don't know who you're going to bump into or who you're going to meet.
Stuart, if it's helpful, we're happy to follow up with a bit more information maybe on your particular sector, just to bring it to life a bit more, or put you in touch with the person that leads on the sector, or if you want to chat to a few of the companies, like, it's all on the table.
Civil infrastructure, contractors, designers, and so on. So that the end use would be within network rail or highways or national grid or utilities, water, gas, renewable energy, clean energy. That's our market. And our products are mainly based around heavy duty flooring systems, railway platforms we make, for example, but it might be walkways in and around factories or in trenches in great big it's infrastructure projects where they might otherwise use concrete, wood or steel. So anywhere we can use concrete, wood or steel, if they need lighter weight and low carbon and anti-corrosive qualities, then we're a consideration. and now that we can recycle everything, it's made the game a bit stronger.
Very interesting. Yeah, happy to introduce you to our trade manager for sustainability.
Stuart, if I may ask a question just for my own curiosity, so what is the material that you use then? If it's not sort of wood, concrete, or steel, what would you replace it with?
Yeah, sure. Sorry. The company's called Dura Composites, and composites is a term that just describes where there is more than one material brought together to make it better than it would be otherwise. So real basics, you could have wood and plastic mixed together, which has the benefits of a nice appearance from wood, but gives it machinability and manufacturability and shapeability that plastic brings, and together it's a bit better. The majority of our business is based around GRP, which is glass reinforced polymer. So it's the same type of material that's used to manufacture boats. It's used quite extensively in industry, and in our case it's used in a sort of heavy duty specialist format for flooring. Up until now, no one has been able to recycle it. So all those boats you see bobbing around have been there since the 1950s. In fact, my dad's company invented series production of boats in the 1960s, and no one can get rid of the damn things because they last so long, but it costs quite a lot of money to put them in the landfill, so they just leave them on the side. I'm not proposing we recycle boats. That will probably come one day because there's too many other ancillary things on a boat to make it a pain in the backside to make any money from recycling them. But our products that we currently make are composite GRP and other ones similar.
Interesting, thank you.
What we discovered on our journey was that because they're so strong, when we first tried to crush and grind them mechanically to recycle them, to take them down into a powder, it basically exploded and made us our ears were ringing for several minutes, and we're all covered in a white powder. We thought it'd be easy. That was 6 years ago.
Wow, what a long way you've come.
Yeah, it's a great case study for a successful Essex business up until this point. And obviously what we'd like to do with helping you go on programs like this and other businesses go on programs like this is that, as you say, that kind of next great trajectory. But the story up until this point is exciting and compelling enough as it is.
Yeah, I'd be very pleased to talk with whoever the relevant people are about whatever the next step are, just to get into a little bit more detail. And then I can map in my mind whether we've got the resource to put into it. Because if we haven't, I don't want to mess you around. But if we have, I think it'll be valuable.
You want me to phone them whenever you're ready?
Excellent. So if there aren't any other questions, should we call it there?
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for the presentation.
Great to meet you all.
Jack, you haven't got
lovely
any
to
new
meet you
watches?
all.
No, not yet. I haven't been to the swatch shop yet.
Nice to see you all.
Thanks all. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.